Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Eric Markland with Markland Designs of Atlanta, and I'm back with another video on this beautiful 2020 Toyota Camry that I had the opportunity to work on. So it came to me as a wiring rescue job fix, and the client definitely just wasn't satisfied with the overall sound of the vehicle and just the way the system was put together. So I had the opportunity to take everything apart, come up with a whole new game plan, and give him the sound and looks that he was looking for. So let's get to it. Let's get started. So getting into the system build, upon starting the vehicle, first thing I noticed that there was a lot of engine noise, a lot of engine whine, pops, pings, little various noises that just don't belong in the sound system of any car, whether factory, aftermarket, it doesn't matter. So I had to assess the situation, kind of go through it, do some diagnostics, and do some signal testing. Also, from the previous install, there were holes that were drilled into the client's carpet. He was not satisfied with that, so he actually ordered a whole new carpet kit. So upon doing the install, I actually had to pull all the carpet out and replace it with a whole new carpet kit from Toyota. So it's kind of got its pros and cons for that. It is more work, but the good thing about pulling the carpet is it allows me to run the wires a lot easier. I can actually trace out all my wiring and run the wiring along with the factory wiring for a more streamlined and a more serviceable approach. So that's what I did. So all the old wiring was snatched out the vehicle from speaker wire, power wire, RCAs. I like to start with a completely clean slate. So all that was snatched out, and the previous install had one run a 4 gauge and split off the 2 8 gauge, which I know that the system that I was getting ready to install, just that wasn't going to be sufficient. So like I said, all the wiring was snatched out. But before I go any further, let's talk about the actual equipment that was used. So I got to use a new product that I have never used before at all, and that's the kicker key lock. If you ask them what the kicker key lock is, it's a very intelligent, very smart line out converter. A lot of these newer vehicles, they come in with factory all pass filters, factory equalization, and factory time alignment straight from the head unit. Previously, a lot of times you saw that type of stuff going on post factory amplifier. So if you had a factory amplifier, a lot of times the factory amp would take care of the EQing, all pass filters, time alignment. But now you're actually seeing that stuff coming from the actual factory head unit. Like I said before, a lot of the older vehicles, some of the cars like from like 2005, 6, you had a pretty much clean flat signal from the factory head unit that went to a factory amplifier, and the factory amp took care of all that, and all pass filters and crossovers and time alignment. Now you're seeing it directly from the actual head unit. So you need something to correct that, because if you're sending this already distorted, when I mean distorted, I don't mean as far as actual clipping, but as far as it's already been manipulated, as far as time alignment, crossovers, all pass filters, all these type of things like that, what you take from that factory signal, you're going to dump it right back into aftermarket equipment. So you need to actually start with a very clean signal. So the kicker key lock does that. It takes that factory signal, you run some test tones, gain matching tones that you can download from the actual Kicker website, and it flattens everything out. So the good thing about it is that when I got started, I RTA'd the signal before to see how the factory signal looked, and I RTA'd the signal after the key lock, and there's a huge difference. You can actually see the physical, the factory signal was very kind of like this, and once the key lock did its job, I mean, it was a pretty flat signal, which was great. So like I said, it was my first time using the key lock, and I was very impressed. Taking the signal from the key lock is going to 2 amplifiers, one being a P6 DSP MK2 from Helix, and a P1 monoblock amplifier from Helix. And then going from the amplifiers, we have a 3-way component set from Audiofrog. So we have GB60s in the doors, GB25s on the dash, and GB10s in the pillars. And the cool thing about it is that the factory system that came in this Toyota Camry was non-amplified, but the owner bought the JBL A-pillars that actually have provisions for the GB10s to fit in with a little bit of modifications. So now that we know the system structure, let's get further into the wiring. So like I said, I used 0 gauge wiring from the battery that fed to a distribution block. And then from that distribution block, or fused distribution block, let me get a little more clear. It had 2 runs of 4 gauge that was ran from the battery into the vehicle, and that split off to each amplifier. Previously, the install had 2 amplifiers underneath the driver's seat, and wires, screws were just ran into the carpet, not really secured. So that was one of the main reasons why I did the carpet swap. So I actually fabricated expanded PVC mounts to house both amplifiers underneath the driver and passenger seat. He did not want anything drilled into the actual carpet. So the good thing about the mounts, how I made them, that I was able to actually tap into factory mounting points with quarter-20 hardware, so that nothing had to be actually drilled into the carpet, and the amplifiers were actually tapped into the expanded PVC. So it's very serviceable. Once, if he ever decided to sell the vehicle, he could pull it out very easily. There'd be no leftover screws or anything like that. So I think he would definitely be satisfied. And then moving on to the bass, we have Phoenix Gold Elite 12-inch subwoofer and a sealed enclosure. That definitely provides more than enough low end. So he was definitely satisfied. The imaging turned out great, tonality, just the overall gain structure, everything just turned out really nice. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of, walk you through some more of the detailed steps as far as what was done, a little more elaborate as far as some of the pictures. And client heard the car and he was blown away. Probably one of the most animated reactions I've gotten from a client in a very long time. I mean, I looked over it from the passenger seat, and I mean, it was smiles from ear to ear, which let me know I did my job. And like I said, we went through various songs from Adele to Justin Bieber to Outkast. He's a very diverse music listener. And being a former sound quality champion himself, he knows what to listen for and what to look for as far as sound. So he was blown away by the imaging, just everything, which made me feel really good. So let's get into a little further as far as installs, and I'll just kind of walk you through it. And as always, what I'll do is at the very end of the video, I will post up some of the before photos so you can kind of see where the install started and where it ended up at. So let's get to it. All right, so I had to draw up some templates in the computer and to modify the factory housing to allow the GB25 to fit in a factory location with no problem. So once that was done, I made a chipboard template, and once I was satisfied with that, I cut everything out of acrylic on the laser and got everything mounted, tapped the acrylic to allow the screws, used quick connects, and I think it turned out great. So I did the same treatment for the GB10s, 25s, and 60s with quick connects for easy serviceability in case it ever need to be returned to factory or serviced for any reason. Once the GB25s were on the dash, I actually laser cut foam to place around the speaker to help isolate the front wave and the rear wave, just to help as far as sound quality and kind of bring the speaker through the factory grill. Stinger fast rings and roadkill was used on the doors to help deaden them up and improve the sound quality of the mid-bass drivers. One of the cool features of the P6 DSP amplifier is some of the add-on accessories that you can use with it. Here I used the URC.3 controller, and I flush mounted it into the actual console area of the vehicle. The knob on the far left does master volume, and the knob on the far right does master subwoofer controls. And then the button in the middle can switch between presets. So green is preset 1 for more of a sound quality type of tune, and then preset number 2 is for a daily driven, more low end, more bass heavy tune. So if he's going to a competition, he can compete on tune preset number 1, and if he's just driving around the road, just kind of doing his daily travels and want a little more bass, he can hit preset number 2. All right, moving on to the trunk, we have a 1.5 cubic foot sealed enclosure that's optimized for sound quality for the Phoenix Gold Elite 12-inch subwoofer. Here you can see I'm rounding over the edges of the enclosure for a more finished and complete look of the enclosure. The main enclosure face is wrapped in vinyl, and the sides and back and top and bottom are wrapped in carpet. The main baffle face itself is a double layer 3/4 inch MDF, and then the speaker wire from Stinger is secured to the enclosure to eliminate any types of rattles or vibrations inside the enclosure when the bass is moving. A terminal cup is also installed on the side for easy serviceability and just, overall a complete look. The trim panel was constructed out of expanded PVC. It's very lightweight, easily machinable, and it's easy to work with as far as body filler. And that's why I picked it. So once everything was done, everything was wrapped in vinyl, and here you can see the final product. Came out really, really clean. The client said he didn't want anything super flashy, so this is right up his alley. So as always, thanks again for watching, and thank you for checking out the time, and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.